This is everything you need to know to visit the ancient city of Bath, one of the most beautiful cities in England. In this video, I'm going to tell you what to do, what to see, what to eat, where to stay, when to go, how to get in, how to get around. It is everything you need to know. This video is sponsored by SimLocal. More about them later. All right, let's go. The first thing to know is just a little overview about Bath. Bath is most famous for the natural hot springs here. Bath is the only site of natural hot springs in England, and it was popular with the Romans a couple thousand years ago. So there's a lot of kind of like medieval vibe and feel here. It's a really charming town, also famous for its Georgian architecture. Related to that history, you can hear the church bells tolling in the background. At one point in time, this was the religious center of England. Bath has more historic and protected buildings than any other city in England, and it's been made world famous by the Netflix show Bridgerton that has used Bath as a filming location for all 3 seasons. And because of that, this place draws a lot of visitors, over 6 million of them annually, many of them coming in as a day trip from London, because I think this is really one of the best day trips you can do from the city. The second thing to know is some information to help you get oriented to Bath. Bath is located in the southwest of England, about 100 miles west of London and about 10 miles east of Bristol. The city itself is 11 square miles, but the historic city center, where most of the tourist attractions are, is small enough to be explored on foot. You'll find most of the major attractions inside the U-shaped bend of the River Avon. There are just a few bridges that cross the river, which really adds to the charm. 3 of them for pedestrians, and the coolest one, the Pulteney Bridge, actually has shops across the whole thing. We'll see more of that in the shopping section. By the way, there are timestamps in the description if you want to jump around to any of these sections in the future. Now, at the southern tip of Bath is the Bath Spa train. If you're taking the train, this is how you'll come in. We'll talk more about that in getting around. But what you should also know is that from here, pretty much everything is uphill. Yes, the train station is the bottom of the hill, and when you come up here towards the real city center, where right behind me the Roman baths are, this is the center of the historic Old Town. There's kind of like a plaque or inlaid ground right in front of the bath to show this is where the center of it all was. Then you go over to the bridge. There's a set of attractions over there, and then if you head up further to the north is where you'll find all of the Georgian attractions, the Royal Crescent, the circus. And by the way, Georgian attractions, if you're wondering why are they called Georgian attractions, does it have anything to do with Georgia in Atlanta? It has everything to do with King George and the King George dynasty. There were a number of King Georges, and that architecture became popular during that time. The third thing to know is about getting into Bath, and the way most people get into Bath is by taking the train from London to Bath. The fastest train you can take, it's on the Great Western Railway, and it goes from London Paddington Station to the Bath Spa Station right here. Fast train, 90 minutes. They run just about every 30 minutes out of Paddington Station. That's what we did. It was a great, clean, fast train. If you are gonna do that, definitely book them online ahead of time, because the rates can be significantly cheaper if you buy well ahead than if you buy the day of or the day out or at the ticket office. So save yourself some money, buy your tickets ahead of time. If it's a few of you, you might want to consider getting a table seat. That's what we did. We really enjoyed it with the 3 of us. We had a whole table all to ourselves. If you do have luggage, try to get to the train early, because, well, there's only a few luggage racks on the side. And also, if you are coming out of Paddington Station, know that they only announce the track that the train's going to be on about 5 minutes before. You'll be standing by the screens, and you want to see that track and then make a mad dash for the train so you can get your luggage on if you have it. All right, so then once you're here at Bath Spa Station, if that's the way you're coming in, you can take a taxi. There's a taxi rank that's right here. There are no taxis in it at the moment. There seemed to be kind of like an imbalance of taxis versus trains. Certainly when a big train comes in, then there's not enough taxis for all of them. Uber does operate here, so you can call an Uber. You can also reserve a taxi ahead of time, or you can walk. That's what we did. That's how we got to our hotel. Many of the hotels are pretty close to the train station. Just know that the walk to the hotels is often uphill on some cobblestone paths, because most of Bath is uphill here from the train station. Now, if you're flying in the same day that you want to get into Bath, if you're flying into Heathrow, then your best bet will be to take the Heathrow Express train to London Paddington Station, and then you can take the train from there here to Bath. There are also bus options that may be a little bit cheaper, but they take a little bit longer. About 3 hours from Heathrow Airport on the bus will get you here to Paddington. There's also buses that leave from the London Victoria Coach Station, and buses that you can take from London Gatwick, although those are going to have a transfer. A closer airport, if you're flying in locally from Europe, would be into the Bristol Airport. That's about 40 minutes away from here. There are buses that'll come from Bristol Airport to Bath. If you're in Bristol City, it's just about like a 15-minute train ride from Bristol City into Bath. If you're coming in by bus, it's also a convenient location that it comes in. It's just right next to the train station at the bus station. If you are driving into Bath, then you're going to need to park. Where do you park? Pretty much all the parking in the historic center of Bath is paid parking. Definitely pay the meters if you're parking at meters, because I've seen a lot of police walking around writing tickets. If you park on the street or in the parks, then you can pay with your mobile phone. You kind of scan this QR code right here, you download this app, and then you pay for your parking. Again, you need to know your license plate, and you need to know the location number of where you're parking. There are a lot of paid parking lots in Bath. The government here actually provides a website that you can see live parking occupancy of the parking lot. Probably your biggest, most convenient bet is the Southgate parking garage that's right here by the train station in the basement of this shopping complex that we'll see more of when we talk about shopping. If you're looking for free parking, then you'll find that at the city's park and ride lots that are outside of the city center. You can park in some of these free lots, and then you can pay a couple of pounds to take a bus into the city. Oh, just an interesting note about parking in Bath. The way they charge you for parking is based on how clean or efficient your vehicle is. The more your vehicle pollutes, the more expensive it is to park. How do they track that? You put in your license plate to pay for parking, and then the rate changes depending upon the vehicle that you're driving. The fourth thing to know before you go to Bath is about getting around. And probably the way you're really gonna wanna get around Bath is by walking. A very walkable city, you can walk everywhere. If you are considering driving to get around, probably don't, at least not within the city center. Traffic can be really challenging, particularly in the summer and weekend seasons. You're not gonna find much parking to go between different places. If walking is too much for you, there is a hop-on, hop-off bus tour company that operates double-decker buses to take you around the city. And there's also an extensive network of city or municipal buses that run around to take you around the local area outside of the historic district. Note that if you're like pushing a stroller or things like that, challenging because there's a lot of like cobblestones. Same thing with your luggage. If you're pulling your luggage around, just know it's going to be a little bit more difficult to walk. Ladies, I would keep the high heels at home and wear some flat shoes. Now, if you do want to drive in the Bath region, we actually did rent a car here from in town. We picked it up from the Enterprise Rent-A-Car, which is about 2 miles outside of the city center. Took a taxi to get over there. You could also walk about a 45-minute walk. You'll find a few other rental car companies in town too. Now, definitely a big challenge getting around Bath is navigating, because it's a maze of like one-way short streets. It's not really a grid. It's not really simple to walk around, so it really helps to have online maps when you're here. And so how did we do that? On this trip, we actually got eSIMs from SimLocal, the sponsor of this video. Before we came out here, we went on their website, we searched for the United Kingdom and found a bunch of different options. We picked the Leica SIM because it was cheap. It was $12.50 for 20 gigabytes of data over 15 days, and we figured we would mix it up, and so we also got a SIM from EE, which is one of the UK's like premier network providers. OC Girl got that one. That one was a little bit more expensive at $20 and had 30 gigabytes of data over 30 days, so that SIM was valid for a little longer. Now, the experience of buying these things was super great. Took us like 2 minutes to go to the website, purchase it. We got a link to then download the eSIM to our phone, and the way that worked was by presenting a QR code on the SimLocal website that we then scanned with our phone. Super easy on iPhone and Android. If you have a newer iPhone and Android, they'll support eSIMs. If you have an older one, you should check, but I feel like most Android and iPhones that have been made in the last couple years support eSIMs. And so if you do have an eSIM capable phone, which we do, the Samsung Galaxy S24, and OC Girl has the iPhone 14, it then took about like 1 or 2 minutes to configure the eSIM on the phone. Now in the eSIM settings, when we got to the UK, we could just toggle that particular eSIM on, which meant that when we got to the UK, we didn't have to go to a place. We didn't have to stand in line to get a traditional SIM card. We didn't have to open a little drawer on the phone. We didn't have to have a thing to poke it. We didn't have to figure out what to do with our other SIM card. And it was really a great experience. We would absolutely do it again. So if you're interested in getting an eSIM for your next trip to the UK and beyond, because they actually support a ton of other countries, just head over to SimLocal. There's a link in the description, and they also passed on the coupon code YELLOW that you can use to get 10% off your purchase. I'm sure you'll enjoy it because we enjoyed it and found it really easy to stay connected as well. All right, back to the video. You should definitely know about the baths before you come to Bath, and Bath is named this after the original Roman baths right here. This is the #1 attraction in this town. It's where everybody comes on their visit. It is a museum. Although you may see pictures of it and it looks like it's in the city, you do have to pay to come in here. It can be very busy. If you want to come in and see this museum, which includes the baths, plus like how they made the bath, plus like what life in Rome was like, the line's very long most of the time. To avoid the lines, get here early in the morning, get here late at night. This place is open until 10 o'clock in the summer. Many people come to Bath as a day trip from London, and so if you come later than all of the other people have left, you have the place all to yourself. You can also pre-book tickets online to save yourself some money. It's a one-way museum, so just know as you walk through, there's no going back the other way. Oh, and with your admission also comes an audio guide. The staff here says most people spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours in here, so there is really a lot to see, do, and look at while you're in this thing. Don't just think you come in, look at this, and then leave. And if you're planning weekdays or weekends, it is cheaper if you come on weekdays versus weekends, which means it's gonna be less busy too. And you can also see the sacred spring where the water still bubbles up right there. And then underneath it, back in the museum, you can see the outflow where when it fills up the pool, then it goes out to the old Roman drain. It's pretty neat to see this. You can't actually go in this water because it has some algae and things like that in it. It's apparently not good for people anymore. But there is one place that you can still go in the water, which I'll tell you about next. Oh, and so a note on that algae in the water, if you're like, Chris, there's algae now. Was there algae when the Romans were here? No, because this place in Roman times actually had a roof on it over the top. Sometime that roof collapsed, so there's no roof now, and that's what causes the algae to grow in the water and gives it that green color today. Now definitely don't forget to drink this bottle of water on your way out. It is right after you return the audio guides. It's really easy to miss it, which is why they have a sign that says don't forget to drink it. The water, they provide some cups for you, and it is warm. Oh, that's scary. I don't like water unless it's tea. Let's see how this water is. It's definitely not heavy on water. But I feel like I just gained about 3 more years of my life drinking this, so definitely worth the price of admission. So you can't go in the water at the Roman bath. Where can you go in the water? Right here at the Thermae Day Spa, which is much newer in comparison to those Roman baths. 2,000 years old. These are about 20 years old. This operates as a day spa where you get a 2-hour session to go in and enjoy the natural waters. There's a rooftop pool up on the 4th floor. Admission is about 40 Great British pounds. They charge you about 5 more if you come on a weekend. They're open long hours, generally 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. But if you're here in the summer or on weekends, there can be long waits, so do pre-book ahead to make sure you don't wait a long time. Now, they only allow admission to adults, essentially 16 or older, which means we didn't go, but they also have a semi-private bath, which we didn't go either, but it's right over here, called the Cross Bath. The Cross Bath from the outside might look like it's not open or not in business, but it absolutely is. You can book 90-minute private sessions here for groups of up to 10 people. How much is that gonna cost you? Think something like 800 to 1,000 Great British pounds. Definitely not cheap, but if you're with a big group, maybe you amortize that across 10 people and it's only 100 pounds a person. If you've got littler kids in the group or medium kids in the group, the minimum age here is 12 years and up, which the princess still has 8 more years to go. The sixth thing to know is about the weather and when to go. And the weather in Bath compared to the rest of the UK is generally milder and wetter. Rain here, generally about 2 to 3 inches per month, and on average, 10 to 13 rainy days per month. Gray and drizzly is typical Bath weather. In the summer, the daytime highs are usually around 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius. In the winter, they can drop down to maybe 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Fahrenheit for the average temperatures, so maybe around 5 degrees Celsius. When we were here in October, the daytime high was 55 degrees Fahrenheit and the nighttime low was 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So not much of a temperature difference when the sun is behind the clouds. Now, the question of when you should come, well, when most people come tends to be the summer. Think June, July, August. That's the high season because Well, the weather's the warmest, it's the nicest, but it's also gonna be really busy, which means that it's gonna be really expensive. So if you wanna avoid the crowds, don't come in the summer, come in the shoulder season, something like April or May or September and October. If you're really trying to plan a trip to avoid the crowds, then don't come on the weekends. The weekends are gonna be a crush of people. Think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because many people come here as day trips or weekend trips from London. So if you can come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're gonna have Bath all to yourself. Well, maybe not all to yourself, but with a bit less people, and you're gonna find hotel rates that are much, much cheaper and attraction entrance admissions that are cheaper too. How long should you stay? You can certainly do it as a day trip. We spent 3 nights here, or in about 2.5 days, which we felt was just about right. Oh, but just note that a lot of attractions actually aren't open on Mondays, so Monday might not be the best day if you're planning to do a lot of things in Bath. The 7th thing to know before you go to Bath is about food, and probably the most famous food in Bath are the buns. There are 2 competing bun houses. There's the Sally Lunn bun, which is where we're at right now, and then there's the Bath bun, which is just right down the street. Sally Lunn's buns have a few different varieties. This one is the milk bun, which comes with some butter, some caramel. For an extra couple pounds, we got the clotted cream with it. They're famous for their teas. We got the Sally Lunn blend and a chai blend. They serve it with these little strainers to strain out the tea leaves. The princess over here, she got some ice cream because that's pretty good too. So Sally Lunn's, I think, is the most popular, usually has the busiest lines. If you can't get in here, the Bath bun around the corner. What is the difference between the Bath bun and the Sally Lunn bun? Well, this Bath bun here, a little smaller than the Sally Lunn bun. The Sally Lunn buns that we had, those were half buns. By the way, we enjoyed it so much we got 2 of them. Light and fluffy, served warm. These buns, more dense, served cold with some raisins and some sugar, something sweet on top. You can also add the clotted cream, and this, for the princess, we got her a chocolate cake. Once I dive into this, I'll let you know which one we like best. So I've already taken 1 bite of the bun. Let's take a second bite of it. My preference is the Sally Lunn bun. I like the warmth. I like the fluffiness of it. But you know what? When you come to Bath, you can have both of them, and you can decide which one you like better. Now, if you're looking for a fancier tea experience, you will find the fanciest in Bath at the Pump Room. This is the Pump Room for the Roman baths, where you originally would drink the spa water to get healthy, but now they do afternoon tea, 3 different seatings, 12, 2, and 4 p.m. If you want to have it, make sure to book ahead online, make a reservation. Now, we should also know about eating in Bath is that you should make reservations, particularly for dinner. We are at this place called the Scallop Shell, which is a restaurant that specializes in fish and chips. And if you want to eat here, you need to make a reservation ahead of time. I am not kidding. They've got a computer over there, and they ask people if they got a reservation, and if they don't, no dice. These fish and chips, though, are generally regarded as some of the best in Bath, if not as some of the best in UK. They have lots of different types of fish you can get. So I've got the hake, and OC Girl has the cod. These were about 23 pounds. They come with mushy peas on the side. That's basically mashed peas for those who don't know. They come with tartar sauce in a little bit of a shell dish. The princess, for £7.50 pounds, has some fish nuggets. What are those smaller pieces of fish? Yeah, those are shells. And the chips, the apple juice for her was free, which is pretty nice. And of course, they've got malt and vinegar to put on the side. And if you're looking for fish and chips, it's not hard to find here. Even a Thai restaurant sells fish and chips. If you're looking for some meat pies, then come to the House of Meat Pies at Pie Minister. They've got like 10 different varieties of meat pies. I've got the mother lode beef meat pie that comes with the mushy peas on top, minty mushy peas, and mashed potatoes on the bottom. And of course, they have a fine selection of British beers. Cheers. For some unique Bath street eats, check out LJ Hugs. It's right in front of the Bath Parade Grounds in a little tent that they set up. You'll find it because they'll have a long line at lunchtime. What do they specialize in? They specialize in rice bowls with either a beef chili on top or a chicken chili on top. They cook it all up fresh outside. They've also got kids meals here. We've got the fries and we've got some chicken. The meal for 10 pounds comes with your choice of drinks. What do we got today? We've got the Tropical Rio. Let's dive in and check out. I got the chicken. I got the not spicy version. OC Girl got the beef. Where are we eating this? This doesn't look like it's outside our hotel. The Abbey Bath Hotel was right next to it. So we decided to bring it up to our room since there's no place to eat it. It's street food, so they don't give it to you with a knife or anything. So here we go. It's good, it's tender, it's fresh, well cooked, and not overcooked. And you get your choice, like 20 different sauces. I got sweet chili and garlic mayo. Good quick eats. So now if you're looking for a more upscale, modern place to eat, check out the Ivy Brasserie and Grill. This place, it's on the main pedestrian street up the hill. What do we got here? Well, the princess has some spaghetti that she's really enjoying on the kids menu. I have the classic shepherd's pie, Ivy style. It's about 20 pounds. Oh, and if you're wondering what shepherd's pie is, it's ground lamb and beef with mashed potatoes on top and some cheese on top of that that's made nice and crispy. And OC Girl has a duck curry. I've also got their, we had some appetizers before, so we've been dining for a little bit. I got their homemade ginger beer. This one made with homemade ginger juice. Cool vibe in here, like lots of floral, neat bar in the center. Princess, how's your linguine?
So yummy.
Good. The Ivy is Curious Princess approved. The thing to know before we go to Bath is about hotels, and there's actually a lot of hotels in Bath. There's over 80 hotels in Bath, but they are all small hotels, often in old buildings. You can find some gems. There's some diamonds in the rough, but because they're small, you definitely should book it in advance if you're coming here. I would say at least 3 months in advance so that you have your pick of the lot. Because many of the buildings are historic, that also means the rooms in them are small, which means that many hotels only have an occupancy of like 2 people per room. So if you need more or bigger rooms, you're traveling with more people, then you're either looking at booking multiple rooms or you're looking at booking something like a family room or a suite, which is what we have. I'll get to this one in a moment. But other things you should know about Bath is that many of the hotels, again, because they're historic buildings, may not have elevators, or if they do have elevators, even if you take the elevator up to a guest room floor, you might end up having to go up and down stairs to your room. I kid you not. To get to this room in this hotel from the lobby, they told us take the elevator up the 2nd floor, then go up 3 stairs, not 3 flights, go up 3 stairs, go through 2 doors, then go down a flight of stairs to get to your room. I mean, it was one of those where, like, if the hotel in Bath asks you if you need help with your luggage, you probably should say yes. If you're driving a car into Bath, you should also look at the parking situation ahead of time. You should find out whether your hotel has parking or whether there's a parking garage nearby, because most hotels don't have parking and many may not have any parking nearby. So you should know where to park. Don't expect to drive into the hotel and actually park your car, because that's not really a thing here. Okay, so now where are we staying? The princess is really excited and having a good time because she loves this hotel room. We're at the Abbey Bath Hotel. This hotel was recently added to Marriott Bonvoy as part of the Tribute Collection about 2 years ago. They did a full remodel and overhaul in the hotel. Related to big or small hotels, this one's pretty big for Bath. It has 80 rooms, but they're in lots of different buildings. We booked the 2-bedroom suite because we had 3 people. We needed to get into something like this for our occupancy, which has 2 bedrooms, each with a king-size bed, although 1 bathroom. The bathroom is definitely the princess's favorite part of this. These rooms in this building of the hotel just opened in January of 2024. So they're quite new. And if you want to see more about this, I'll have a full hotel review coming up. As soon as it's out, I'll put a link at the end and in the description. But Princess, what do you think about this hotel? Yeah, we would definitely stay at the Abbey Bath Hotel again. I think the location is also really good. The next thing to know is about shopping, and there are a lot of shops in Bath, but the most iconic place to shop is on the Pulteney Bridge. This bridge, built in the 1700s, is one of only 4 bridges in the world with shops that span the entire span of the bridge. Are they the best shops in Bath? No, but they are the most beautiful. When you're shopping on the bridge itself, you'd hardly even know it. It looks just like any other city street, and that was their goal, to keep the two sides of the city connected. Now, just across the street from the Pulteney Bridge is another cool shopping experience, the Guildhall Markets. This used to be a place where there were nearly 100 vendors in really small booths, and now there's just 20 vendors, but you get like unique things, like there's a craft store, there's a pet shop, there's even a bookstore that sells carpets. It's a really like piece of history, not 18th century history, but, you know, something like 50 years ago where you were like, this was great England right here. And you know what? It still exists in these Guildhall markets. No chain stores here. I mean, there's even a shop here called the Nice Little Shops right next to a delicatessen. And of course, sweet tooths of all ages will enjoy the Bath Humbug Shop. And if you need any cheap clothes, like you forgot some socks or need better socks, you'll find them at the local TK Maxx just across the street from the Guildhall Market. If you're into collecting postcards from your journeys, check out Pitch 26. It's right by the Bath Abbey. They've got these cool postcards, many of them in yellow, of drawings of the architecture of Bath. You can bring home a big wall one too. But I think the city's finest shopping district is the Southgate shopping area. This is just right north of the train station around Southgate Place. It's about like 3 or 4 city blocks of some pretty, well, we'll call it middle to high-end shops. You'll find the Apple Store, you'll find Zara, you'll find H&M. This is also a good place to park. There's a big parking garage underneath, but you would have heard me tell you that already. Just reminding you, because we just walked by it. Now, just coming out of the Southgate Plaza brings you to the main pedestrian streets through Bath. This is a big, wide, stately alley. It's generally pedestrianized. You'll see a car every once in a while that's like a maintenance car or something coming through here. But generally, you find shops and restaurants that also close early. You should know Bath. Stores, 6 p.m., that's about as late as they go, so make sure you do your shopping before nightfall comes, otherwise you'll find yourself walking around to a bunch of closed stores. If you're looking for groceries, there's a Tesco Express right out of that Southgate shopping area, and the Curious Princess wants you to know there's also a sweet shop right next to it that she really likes. And if you're looking to pick up some perfumes or some deodorants, check out Molten Brown. This is my favorite deodorant of choice. Probably more than you want to know, but I just wanted to point it out. Oh, and if you want to go to the bank for some reason, those close at 3 p.m. Super early. There is one place you can shop that's open after 6 p.m. Primark, right across from the Roman Baths. They open until 7 p.m., so I bet they get a lot of business in that last hour when they're the only ones left open. The 10th thing to know is about what to do other than go to the Roman Baths. And probably the number one thing to do in addition to the Roman Baths is to visit the Bath Abbey, because it's right next to the Roman Bath and it's a really beautiful church. This church dates back to the 7th century. You can come in and worship on Sundays for free during worship, or if you're a tourist and you want to come in and see it, the admission is £7.50 for adults. Kids under the age of 5 are free. And what's pretty fun is if you are coming in with kids, they give them an Explorer pack that has like some instructions and a scavenger hunt and a little lion named Abigail for the Bath Abbey to tell them like all these things to do. Our princess enjoyed wearing the backpack around and using the magnifying glass to learn about the Bath Abbey here. Now, if you want to dive a little bit more and also get a great view of Bath, you can do the tower climb or a tower tour, £15, and they take you up on group tours up to the tower on top. A great way to see the city if you've got 2 hours is to take one of the free walking tours every day. At 10:30, they meet here in front of the Roman Baths and the pump room. It is called the Mayor of Bath Guides. This was a tradition that started with one of the former mayors of Bath and has continued on with volunteers that lead you on the way if you're here certain days of the week. They also have a second one later in the day at 2 p.m. It's free. The guides don't ask for tips at the end, just a really informative and awesome tour of the city. You don't feel pressured. If you want to leave at any point, you can go ahead. Definitely, we took it and there were like more people than we thought there were going to be. There were like 80 people or something like that for the tour that they broke into 3 groups, and so each group was pretty nice. Even this one right here enjoyed the walking tour and enjoyed the hilarity of the tour guide. He was pretty funny. Do check that out. It actually, by the way, related to tips, it says tips not accepted. Like even if you wanted to give them a tip, no, they're just volunteers and they love to do it. Awesome. You know, it's funny, the sign down below says that they take pride in delivering informative and entertaining walks. No wonder I like it, because at Yellow Productions, I always say we create videos that are fun, informative, and entertaining. Now, apparently I know what I might do when I retire. Definitely come by the Royal Crescent, probably the most famous building or set of buildings in Bath. There are 30 houses that make this crescent. This was built in 1700s, and it is a really grand building. This grassy area that's out in front, the one right by the building, that's actually their front yard. That's a private area. This one right here is a public park that you can come to on the bottom part, and then there's a museum that you can go in on the corner to see what life was like in these houses. In a few rooms of the museum, they have what they call an immersive experience. Here they've got projections of the wall, perhaps of people who used to live here in the past, which reminds me a lot of the Roman baths. I kind of love how they've integrated technology into these museums. I also love the view outside the window that you can see the rest of the Royal Crescent, and then you can see their front yard right there. Definitely one of the coolest rooms is the kitchen and the scullery down on the ground floor, where they've got a whole setup of a 1700 era's kitchen that of course would have been staffed by servants, not the people that actually owned the house, of course. It looked like they were baking some bath buns over here. It's got the sugar and the raisins on it. And in the servants' hall where the servants would eat, they have a really interesting set of rules, and I wonder if these are rules they actually had to post up here and tell people, but that while they're here at dinner, they should not wipe their knife or fork on the tablecloth, that they should not use anyone else's knife or fork, and that if you were combing your hair, you would have to forfeit 3 pennies. Wow! Admission into the Royal Crescent Museum is £15 for adults. It is free for kids under 18. And the staff says if you do the whole thing and listen to all of the immersive audio, then it takes about 45 minutes to go through. So after you finish visiting the Crescent, walk 1 block down to check out the circus. And you might say, Chris, where are the elephants, the lions and tigers and bears and the clowns? It's not that kind of circus. They called it a circus because they built the houses in a circle. This is another great example of that Georgian architecture, and in the middle of it, they've got a nice grassy area that was essentially the front yard for all of these people. And the Curious Princess, she's really enjoying playing around the tree roots in the middle over there. But this didn't always used to be just a kiddie play area. In fact, this had a purpose back in the day to park the horses for all of the wealthy residents to bring back to their houses. Essentially, their open air stable. So while you're out exploring the Crescent and the circus, take a detour down this thing called the gravel walk. It's basically behind the houses that connect those two places, because down here, there's an entrance to a Georgian garden. Free backyard, which is now a museum, so you could see what these stately backyards look like, not just the museum of the inside. And you'll literally find it right here. It looks like a hole in the wall of one of these backyards. Georgian garden, open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., just closed on Christmas and the day after Christmas. Now, of course, when we were here in the cold months of October, not much was in bloom, but I would imagine if you come in spring, there'd be a lot more flowers here. Or if you're looking to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city and into nature a little bit, well, Victoria Park is just right next to the Royal Crescent. It's a really big park, ideal for taking a wander or a stroll or even feeding the ducks at the pond. Our daughter really enjoyed the very large children's playground that's here, and there's also a 9-acre botanical garden near the entrance. If you're driving, you get 1 hour of free parking here too, which is nice. And the last thing to know is we've got even more videos, particularly if you're combining this trip with London. You might enjoy our London travel guide. You'll find a link there in the screen. And as usual, we won't say goodbye because we'll say, what, Princess?
Hello, I will see you in the next video.